Hi, guys, welcome back. This is actually my last book that I own right now, as far as kids' artist books. So, any other videos after this will be different, but I don't know what yet. So, now we're going to read a book about Andy Warhol. Okay? Andy Warhol was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1928. He helped develop pop art, one of the best known and most fun periods of art ever. Andy Warhol also became one of the most famous artists ever. He may have been the first and only art superstar. And that is a self-portrait by Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol's best-known paintings and prints are usually brightly colored. They have simple, strong shapes that really stand out. Andy often showed things that were a popular part of everyday modern life, like supermarket products and rock stars. The name pop art comes from the word popular. Okay, so here's a close cover before striking Pepsi Cola, and then this is Elvis Presley, a picture taken from one of his movies, repeated over and over again. When people first started seeing pop art, many of them were shocked. They couldn't believe that serious artists would make sculptures and pictures of such ordinary objects. But pop artists like Andy Warhol, Claes Oldenburg, and Roy Lichtenstein were just doing what artists have always done. They were creating art about things that were important or familiar in their everyday lives. So there's a Roy Lichtenstein comic and Claes Oldenburg's 2 cheeseburgers. Andy Warhol had a natural talent for art. His mother encouraged him and even helped him with his drawings when he was little. She was a pretty good artist, too. At an early age, Andy started having some strange medical problems. First, he started feeling nervous and shaky a lot. Then, for some reason, he started to lose his skin color. Andy was becoming paler all the time. His mother insisted he spend a lot of time resting in bed. Andy enjoyed taking time out to rest. He colored, read his favorite comic books, and listened to the radio. He especially liked reading movie magazines. Andy always loved movies. He dreamed about the exciting and glamorous lives of his favorite movie stars. So in this cartoon, his mom is here saying, "Andy, darling, would you like to rest up a little more with some of my brownies or go to school today?" And he says, "Oh, I guess I'll stay home." Andy showed so much interest in art at school that his teachers suggested he take weekend art classes at the nearby Carnegie Museum of Art. Andy met other talented kids there. Some of them were from rich families. For the first time, Andy saw how wealthy people lived. He imagined how nice it would be to have lots of money. Even though Andy's family never had much money, Andy's father managed to save enough to send his son to art college. After Andy graduated from high school, he studied design and illustration at the Carnegie Institute of Technology. While he was there, he developed an unusual art style. He drew his subject in pencil, then went over the pencil lines in ink. Then, before the ink dried, Andy pressed his picture down onto a clean sheet of paper. This gave him a really neat blotted line look. And here we have our cartoon. And the student is saying, "Bye!" And this one is saying, "Bye, Andy, see you next week." And he's saying, "Wow, maybe someday I can have a cool car like that." And there's his cat. After Andy graduated from art college, he went to New York City to look for a job. Because he had very little money, he carried his drawings and artwork around in a brown paper grocery bag. After showing his work to a lot of different advertising agencies and magazine publishers, Andy finally got lucky. An art director at Glamour magazine asked Andy to do some drawings of shoes to illustrate a story. Andy was thrilled. Not only was he going to make some money, but shoes were one of Andy's favorite things to draw. All right, and in this cartoon, this guy is saying, "Okay, kid, I don't have much time. Let's see what you can do." And Andy thinks, "Oh, darn, I must have grabbed the wrong grocery bag again." And there's his first picture of shoes. Later on, Andy did a whole series of ads for a big shoe store in New York and even made some fun shoe drawings for himself. He kept using his blotted line method, and everyone thought his illustrations were really original and great fun. His blotted line art seemed to have an energy to it, almost like it was dancing around on the page. Andy kept getting more and more jobs, and before he knew it, he was making lots of money. More shoes. Finally, Andy was able to move into a nice big apartment. By this time, Andy's father had died, and his mother decided to move in with him. Andy was getting more work all the time. Not only was he doing magazine illustrations, but he started decorating department store windows. He was also designing greeting cards, record albums, and book covers. He even drew suns, clouds, and raindrops for a television weather report. Andy had so much work now that he sometimes asked his friends to help him finish things up. Andy's mom often did hand lettering for his illustrations. Andy was becoming one of the busiest and wealthiest illustrators in New York City. So in this cartoon, he says, "Hey Mom, there's an emergency at the TV station. They need snowflakes right away." And his mom says, "Don't worry, dear. I'll make sure everyone finishes up by the time you get back." And there's another one of his drawings. When he found time to relax, Andy often went to movies and art galleries. During this time, Andy saw the work of two artists that really impressed him. Jasper Johns and Robert Rauschenberg were doing new and exciting things with painting and sculpture. Both of these artists had also done department store window displays like Andy, but now they were becoming more famous for their more serious artwork. Andy Warhol decided it was time for him to become a serious artist too. So here is Jasper John's Three Flags and Robert Rauschenberg's Monogram. Even though Andy's dream of making lots of money was coming true, there was still something he wanted. More than anything else in the world, Andy wanted to be famous. Andy went to work right away. He made paintings of comic strip characters, newspaper ads, and supermarket products. Andy was looking for a way to make his art different from anyone else's, but he wasn't getting anywhere. No one seemed at all interested in Andy's paintings. So here's one that he made about a corns ad, and here's one he made about Superman. Andy started getting nervous about what to do. Finally, a friend told him she knew exactly what to do, but it would cost Andy $50 to find out. Andy gladly paid his friend. She told him that since he loved money so much, he should paint money. For the same $50, she added another idea, to paint something he saw every day, like a can of Campbell's soup. Andy thought his friend's ideas were great. Right away, he started painting pictures of money and soup cans. Andy Warhol often asked people for ideas. He thought it was a normal part of creating things. Andy always made sure, though, that the way he showed those ideas was original and all his own. So here's his Campbell's soup can, one of his most famous pictures. Andy worked as hard as he could. He painted his soup cans on blank backgrounds to make them stand out and seem very important. Andy tried to make his paintings of money and canned soup look like they were printed or made by a machine, the way they were made in real life. He thought repeated images were an important part of pop art too, because things are repeated in real life all the time. It's kind of like when you see the same TV commercials all the time, or the same ads and billboards popping up. TV news shows and newspapers often repeat the same story over and over again too. So this one is called 100 Cans, and this one is called Front and Back Dollar Bills. Andy Warhol's paintings finally started catching on. People enjoyed the fun, bright colors and pictures of things that were familiar to them. Andy was so busy, he not only had to get help from his mother and friends, he also had to hire assistants. They all worked together in a big studio that Andy called the factory. Andy started using a way to print his paintings called photo silkscreening. Now he and his helpers could make hundreds of copies of each painting. Sometimes Andy gave unclear directions to his assistants. He wanted to see if they would come up with interesting surprises. And here we have a photograph of his studio called the factory. And in this cartoon, he's saying, Gordy, sorry, my dog is making noises. Come here. All right, he's going to help us out. Okay, so in this cartoon, this guy is saying, here it is, Andy, 100, one painting 20 feet high. And this Andy is saying, I thought I said 20 paintings 1 foot high. Oh, well, it looks great. The dogs are not cooperating right now. Andy Warhol went on to make paintings and prints of all kinds of popular subjects. You can see a paint by number, you can see a tuna can, an advertisement, and some people, and a cow, and Marilyn Monroe, who was a very famous artist in the 60s. For a while, Andy stopped painting and started making movies of everyday events, like Sleep, which showed a man sleeping for 6 hours. Empire showed the same view of the Empire State Building for 8 hours, and Eat showed a man eating a mushroom for 45 minutes. Andy's movies got a lot of attention and are considered an important part of art and film history. Andy Warhol's life was filled with excitement. He was always in the news for one reason or another. By the time he died in 1987, he was a wealthy and famous artist, just what he had always hoped to be. So here's still images from Empire, and here is his own self-portrait. He was kind of known for having crazy hair. Andy Warhol's pop art was really more than just a series of fun pictures of popular subjects. His best paintings and prints were beautifully designed. They are strong and powerful images with great colors. Andy's artwork and films made many people take a look around them and think about what really was and wasn't important in their lives. All right, and that is the end of our book. So I hope you enjoyed all these books that I've read to you. I hope you're washing your hands a lot with a lot of soap and singing the alphabet song and teaching your little brothers and sisters the alphabet song too, so their hands are clean also. And I hope to see you soon because I really do miss you guys. I love you, and take care of yourselves and your families, okay? Bye.